इंद्रानी स्टार्ट करें हम लोग।
यस सर। So good morning to all dignitaries, guests and delegates. With great joy and immense pleasure, I welcome you all. I feel privileged to extend my warm welcome to all presented over here for the AICTE Training and Learning Academy's 1 week faculty development program on smart cities. I, Indrani Bolkar, on the behalf of Department of Civil Engineering, Government Engineering College Bilaspur, welcome you all in this inaugural session. I welcome our guest of honor, Shri TPS Arora, and the keynote speaker, Shri Shukla, and patron and principal, Dr. B.S. Chawla. I welcome and invite Dr. M.L. Agrawal, course coordinator and the head of Department Civil Engineering, Government Engineering College Bilaspur, for the welcome speech. Please, sir.
Good morning, everybody present here.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Respected Shri TPS Arora sir, guest of honor of the today's inaugural ceremony, and our distinguished alumni of GEC Bilaspur. Respected Shri Shukla ji, keynote speaker of this FDP inaugural function, and our distinguished alumni of GEC Bilaspur. Respected Dr. B.S. Chawla sir, our mentor and principal of Government Engineering College Bilaspur. Dear participants, I welcome you all in this inaugural function of AICTE Atal Faculty Development Program on Smart Cities organized by Government Engineering College Bilaspur from 6th to 10th of September 2021. This FDP has got overwhelming response from the participants. We got total 139 participants registered from all over country. As we all know that Government of India has launched Smart Cities mission on 25th June of 2015. The objective of this mission is to promote sustainable and inclusive cities that provide core infrastructure and give a decent quality of life to its citizens. The main focus of these cities in India is for investing on tier 1 and tier 2 cities, bringing them at same level of other global smart cities. With three main models. First is regarding retrofitting of the brownfield cities, because most of the smart cities that is planned, those cities are brownfield cities. Second one, that is redevelopment of the empty space in the cities. And third model, that is development of the greenfield smart cities. The core element of these smart cities are several, like assured electrical supply, adequate water supply, solid waste management, efficient sanitation, efficient urban mobility, affordable housing, public transport system, digitalization, IT connectivity, sustainable environment, good governance, health and education, security of the citizens. Keeping in view the mission of Government of India as well as our AICT mandate, the topic of this FDP has been chosen as smart cities. And to cover different aspects of this particular topic, we have included speakers from different sectors of the smart cities. First of all, our keynote speaker, Shri Shukla ji, he is ex-chairman of Chhattisgarh Electricity Board. He was also director of CREDA Chhattisgarh and having more than 35 years of experience in managing non-conventional energy sources, particularly renewable energy sources. He will be talking about energy revolution and smart cities. Second session will be taken by renowned architect of Chhattisgarh, Shri Ravindra Kesarwani ji. The topic will be urbanization and smart cities. Third session will be taken by Professor Debashish Sanyal, Professor and Head Architecture, NIT Raipur, related on design of smart buildings and planning of smart cities, a necessary transition. Tomorrow's first session will be taken by Dr. Praveen Kumar, faculty of IIIT Hyderabad. Topic will be strengthening of masonry structures, because this is also an important part of brownfield smart cities. The second session tomorrow will be taken by Professor A.S. Raghuvanshi from NIT Raipur. Topic will be telecom facilities or infrastructure needed for smart cities. The third session tomorrow, that will be by Professor J.D. Ramtekar, Professor and Head NIT Raipur, on seismic consideration for buildings and retrofitting techniques pertaining to smart cities. The seventh session means first session of the 8th September, that will be taken by Professor Samir Bajpai of NIT Raipur. Topic will be environmental management of smart cities. The second session on 8th of September, that will be by Professor A.G. Motani from GEC Jalgaon. The topic will be managing cities with IoT applications in renewable energy system. And the third session on 8th of September will be taken by Group Captain retired Y. Srinivas, who is our alumnus also, on integrated waste management of smart cities, particularly Bilaspur smart city. On 9th of September, the first session will be taken by renowned academician and consultant Professor Bhargav Maitra of IIT Kharagpur. Topic will be transportation consideration for smart cities. And the second session on 9th of September will be taken by Professor Alka Bharat of MA NIT Bhopal. Topic will be smart city, a concept and reality. Third session on 9th of September will be taken by Professor N.M. Deskar from Nagpur. Topic will be electrical energy concern in smart cities. On last day, 10th of September, the first session that will consist of two mini sessions. The first session will be taken by Ms. Amba Sethi on happiness and wellness. And the second session that will be taken by Mr. Nair. The topic will be enlightenment of human hardware and software through yoga and meditation. Second session on the last day, that is on 10th of September, by Professor Saikat Pal of IIT Kharagpur. Topic will be towards smart cities and sustainable cities with spatial computing. He will be covering aspects regarding GIS and remote sensing. And the last session that will be devoted to feedback from the participants and evaluation and valedictory function. So accordingly, we have tried to cover almost every aspect of related to smart cities. I again welcome you all for the inaugural ceremony of this FDP, and we are also grateful to our guest of honor and keynote speaker and our mentor and principal for all the supports they have extended to us. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now, I invite the patron and principal, Dr. B.S. Chawla, for inaugural speech. Please, sir.
Thank you, Indrani. On the inaugural day of Atal's FDP on smart cities, keynote speaker of this session, my batchmate, my classmates since the school, and very loving Mr. Shukla ji, ex-chairman Chhattisgarh State Electricity Board, ex-director CREDA, very well known in Chhattisgarh State as Solar Man, who in fact popularized use of solar energy in this state. Very dynamic person. I welcome you, Shukla ji. Our senior special guest of this function, Chairman of Alumni Association of CSEB Bilaspur, that is ABJEC, most respected, Shri TPS Arora sir, who has always guided us, inspired us, motivated us to reach the heights. Coordinator of this program, very active, dynamic, HOD of Civil Engineering, Professor M.L. Agrawal, all faculties, most respected participants, organizing team, I welcome you all to this inaugural function. The topic chosen is very relevant. We all are noticing that since last 6 years, a change has started when our Honorable Prime Minister thought of the smart city mission. 6 years back, 100 cities from the country were chosen for upgrading of their status. Question is, what is the meaning of a smart city? Why they are needed? Then how it will be converted to smart? Somewhere in deep, if we think, happiness lies there. If citizen of the city, of the net, or of the country, they feel happy for their life, for their day-to-day routine, for their every activity, happiness is there. Then we can say, yeah, our ambience, our surroundings, they are smart. And every function is quite smooth. In world scenario, we all know UNO has established one happiness index. And we know that Finland is ranked as most happy country in world. And this title they have committed since the last 3 terms. They have maintained their first rank in the world. And just after Finland, Denmark, Norway, Switzerland, Iceland, these are the countries who are ranked as the most happy country. People dream of settling there, of visiting there, seeing what are the practices in those countries. And similarly, the most happy city in the world is capital of Finland, that is Helsinki. In the same line, in the bottommost cadre of that happiness index, if we see, Afghanistan is ranked as most unhappy. And just above them are Zimbabwe and Sudan. And we are somewhere in between. So those parameters which can make a city smart, basically that is the use of ICT, that information and communication technology, which monitors all the resources, The data is getting collected, that data is to be interpreted and used to address the gap. In our daily life, we see if we can get good quality water, clean air, clean environment, good parks almost at every 500-meter distance, then fresh vegetables, fruits served in the local area, well-equipped health centers, well-equipped schools, that these are government bodies, wide roads, well-regulated traffic, no traffic jam, then effective economical public transport, parking spaces, cycleway, pedestrian way, then outer ring roads for regulating heavy traffic, free Wi-Fi zones, very powerful internet, CCTV's network, effective policing, effective law and order management, disaster management, community library, e-library, auditoriums, open air theaters, noise-free city, effective waste disposal. These are various parameters which are taken into consideration to rank a city smart. In these coming days, in coming 5 days, participants attending this will have an opportunity to go through these various parameters which decide a city smart or unsmart. I express my gratitude to Arwa sir and Mr. Salin Shukla ji for sparing their valuable time to address this inaugural session. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you all the participants for posing confidence in our college. I would like to tell you in brief about this college. This is establishment of state government, Government Engineering College, Bilaspur. This is 56 years old college. We are running 7 courses, 7 branches of engineering are there. Out of these 7 branches, 4 are NBA accredited. And in 4 branches, we are running PhD research programs too. We are a recognized research center by Technical University. We were ranked as the best institute, best performing institute in Tech 3, completed, they're going to complete in this month in Chhattisgarh state. And in Technical University, we hold #1 position for best academic performance. Thank you all. Good luck to organizing team for great success of this event. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your motivating words. I am delighted to take an opportunity to introduce our guest of honor of the day, Shri TPS Arora. He is the alumnus from 1977 Mechanical branch of Government Engineering College, Bilaspur. He is the chairperson of the alumni of Bilaspur Government Engineering College, a group of esteemed alumni of GEC Bilaspur. He is ex-junior manager Rourkela Steel Plant from 1978 to 1983. He also worked as lecturer in the Government Engineering College, Bilaspur during 1977 to 78. He is a surveyor since 1983, a chartered engineer and a registered valuer. He is an excellent manager, mentor, and a guide. He is an educationalist, industrialist, and a learning enthusiast. I welcome him for his address. Please, sir. Shri TPS Arora, sir.
Thank you so much, Indrani. I am audible, I suppose.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, everybody. This is a wonderful time when the Atal FDP program is being launched, is being organized, is being inaugurated today. And I am given the opportunity to be the guest of honor here. I thank you very much, all the Dr. M.L. Agrawal, Dr. B.S. Chawla, Shailin Shukla ji, and everybody present here. You have given me this opportunity. In the today's program, this is organized by Department of Civil Engineering, Government Engineering College, Bilaspur. And today's keynote speaker, very respected Shri Shailendra Shukla ji, who is ex-chairman CSEB and ex-director CREDI and alumnus of our college. Very learned person, very renowned person. He has made a position in the not only in the state but entire country, I would say, especially non-conventional, energy system. So I salute you, sir. I welcome you here, and the patron of the college, Dr. B.S. Chawla, principal. He is a very dynamic personality, very learned educationist who is dedicated for the development of, all the students as well as the faculties. He has a very good, team building capacity. He does, and above all, he is a very good human being. He thinks always positive for everybody, not only in Bilaspur, but in the entire scenario for the faculty development as well as for all the students. Sir, I salute you also for your all works done in the past, and we hope that you'll do much better in the future also. And he is always, key tool to for the implementation of all the programs, whether it is TechWave or whether it is FDP or whatever. The NABL accreditation is done for the 4 departments. He has done tremendous work for that. As alumni, we all join hands with him to do the betterment for the college, for the faculty, for the students also, as and when required. I would definitely like to recognize Dr. M.L. Agrawal. He has very good management capability. He does every time for all the programs, and especially his assistants, Professor Aditya Singh and Professor Preeti Rajpal, assistant professors of civil engineering. They also had been key tool in organizing this program. In this, this August gathering, I would like to say that this program is good for all faculty members all across the country and abroad also, if somebody is there from abroad also, and for all the research scholars, young scientists, and postgraduate students in the field of infrastructure and planning required for smart city. Whosoever is involved will definitely be benefited with that. Here the involvement of all the branches are there: electrical, civil, mechanical, electronics, and computer science and IT. This is a very good combination of all the branches where the smart city concept we can visualize and we can achieve in the future. This is a very interactive session, very good session. I suppose everybody will be benefited by this program. Now you see the GEC is giving, all over the world, renowned alumnus of Chhattisgarh, of GEC Bilaspur. They are placed everywhere and we are proud of them. It is this college, this is a wonderful college which started, the inception was in the year 1964 and is giving world-class education. And so far as the smart city is concerned, I would say it has, as Dr. Chawla has already said, but in 3-4 points I would like to emphasize that this has the characteristics of infrastructure-based technology and environmental initiatives and best possible public transport, well-planned city plans, and effective utilization of available resources. All these aspects are covered here, and Dr. Agrawal has also said very nicely all the sessions which are going to be taken. I would like to mention here, one of our alumnus who is secretary of FJEC also, Sudhir Gupta. He is a wonderful person and he has been here, for in the smart city as GM. He has worked for some time and he's indirectly giving his services even now for the smart city, the office of the Bilaspur. So, and we have a wonderful team also, core team also. We often meet with family, discuss the matters which are to be taken in future, and we try to do whatever best we can do for the all the alumni of the GEC Bilaspur. I wish every success for this program, and I'll not take much time because Shailendra Shukla ji is available here. We would like to listen to him, and I wish I extend my heartfelt, gratitude for the for inviting me on this occasion. Thank you so much. Wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your motivating words. Now, I invite the keynote speaker of this event, Shri Shailendra Shukla. He is the alumnus of GEC Bilaspur, a technocrat with excellent reputation in the field of power energy, biofuel, and rural development, having decades of association and expertise in these fields. He was director, CEO, managing director, chairman for about 20 years. He was chairman of Western Region Power Companies and Chhattisgarh State Power Companies. He also chaired Haryana State Renewable Energy Development Agency and was director, Chhattisgarh State Renewable Energy Development Agency, CREDA, for 16 years. Presently, he is advisor to 3 renowned companies and setting up an industry at Raipur. He has authored many articles published by reputed international and national publishers, several research papers, and review articles in peer-reviewed journals. He has been awarded by many renowned national and international organizations, including international level Giant Future Energy Prize, 7th Inertia Award in 2013, India's Award for Best Officer in Power Sector Affecting Transformation, Award for Excellence in the Field of Renewable Energy by the President of the Mauritius on 14th June 2014. He has also received the US-India Business Summit Award in 2014 in individual category for promoting renewable energy programs and devices in India. Discovery Channel released one documentary, Asma Aur Bhi Hai, on his excellent social work for society, particularly poor tribal people of Chhattisgarh. He will be addressing this session on topic energy and smart cities. We are fortunate to have him with us today. On behalf of the college, I thank him for providing his gracious presence to join us today to enhance our joy. I will welcome him to address the gathering. Sir, the stage is yours. Please, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Indrani. So now, since it is the inaugural session of a long 1-week faculty development program, so respected Arora Saab, who is guest of honor with this program, dear friend Balbir Chawla ji, who is principal of GEC Bilaspur, my childhood friend, Mr. Emil Agrawal, who is the coordinator of this program. So this pandemic has taught us a new trend of organizing seminar, workshop through Microsoft, Zoom, Google Meet and all. I know that if it was a physical workshop or training program, then participants would have opportunity to interact in between. But since it is virtual, I think you'll have to bear me for next 1 hour, the time slot allotted to me for this presentation. And the topic given to me or chosen by me is energy revolution in smart cities. So now we all are smart enough to understand this word. Most of the people now, I know that people are talking about smartphone, someone talk about smart TV, now people are talking about smart classroom. E-classroom are called smart classroom. And someone says, oh, you are looking smart. It has many meaning, and now people are talking in terms of smart cities also. I will request the participant to please unmute their, yeah, thank you. So now Smart, actually, it means the definition of smart is someone who is intelligent, someone who is well dressed and looking sharp, or something that can act on its own accord. And when we talk about the smart city, it means in general, a smart city is a city that uses technology to provide services and solve city problems in a smart way, in intelligent way. Smart city does things like improve transportation and accessibility, improve social services, promote sustainability, and give its citizens voice. I was in Chandigarh. I was chairman and advisor to CM, so I got opportunity to interact with the people of this urban development at Delhi. When in 1617 we were designing this smart city program for the nation. Mr. Khitan was there. He is from Chhattisgarh cadre. So we used to discuss all these smart city programs. So now can you please run my PPT?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, please. So there is a smart energy system.
Is it visible, sir?
Yeah, it is visible now. It is visible now. So the smart energy system. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Yeah, energy revolution in smart cities. Next slide, please. Yeah. So a smart energy system, we'll have to understand this. The smart energy system concept is essential for cost-effective 100% renewable energy system. The concept includes focus on energy efficiency and use savings and sector integration to establish energy system flexibility, harvest synergies by using all infrastructures, and lower energy storage cost. You might have seen the people talking on the mobile phone, and they sometimes they say कि यार एक डंडी बची है phone पे, so let me reach to my place, I'll put it on charging and then I'll talk to you. And you know that for charging a small mobile, charging a small laptop, they are dependent on 1000 megawatt thermal power station. In Chhattisgarh, it is at Korba. So if you are sitting in Kondagaon or Bastar of Chhattisgarh, and to charge your mobile, if you are dependent on Korba power plant, thermal power plant, do you think that you are smart? Don't you think that there are options for charging your mobile phones or charging your laptop? People are running their televisions, the consumption of which is the capacity of which is just 60 watt to 80 watt. But for running that TV also, if they are dependent on 1000 megawatt of thermal power plant, you can't call them smart people. So why will integrated smart city design be needed as cities move to renewables? And why one should move to renewables? So smart cities have a growing opportunity and imperative to become SRCs, smart renewable cities, you can say. Because without thinking of renewables, your city cannot be smart city. If you are consuming the electricity generating from the polluting based fuel, so you can't claim that your city is a smart city. So I'll use this word SRCs. SRCs means the smart renewable cities. The integration of more solar and renewable power into city energy mixes can directly power their goals to be more economically competitive, sustainable, and livable. In fact, these goals cannot be achieved without a significant share of renewables. So renewable doesn't mean that solar only or the wind only, but that should be hybrid or the combination of solar, wind, waste to energy, hydel, even nuclear also. Yes, nuclear is also green power. So can renewable energy power smart cities? Has it the competency to feed the power for a city? The transition of renewables cuts across the entire urban energy landscape, from buildings to transport to industry and power. Renewables can bring tremendous benefits to cities, including cleaner air, modern services, and improved living spaces. I got opportunity to visit more than 50 countries of the world, and I found that some universities are there in US, some universities are there in Europe also, I found one university in Japan where they are not allowing the people to go inside that campus with their diesel or fossil fuel based cars. They'll have to park their car outside the premises and then they can enter with battery operated cars. So huge, tremendous benefits if you are thinking, even if you are thinking of converting your city into a smart city. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Last one. Yeah. So last one, please. Last slide. Yeah. The smart cities, it doesn't include only power, but yes, it includes all this sensing also, controls also, and then waste to energy. Yeah, please. Next slide, please. So renewables empower smart cities. I use this word empower. Powering and empowering this. Renewable, particularly solar energy, best enable the goals of people-centered smart cities. Sustainable cities of the future need smart renewable grids. Smart renewable grids, yes. As cities expand, so does their energy use, and as cities strive to become smart, renewable solar power can play a crucial role in helping them achieve their goals. I have my residence, my house in Raipur. It's on VIP Road. And you'll surprised that I'm using solar power in my house since last about 18 years in this house. The whole house is solarized, you can say. So from that point of view, I can say that I'm smart enough to use my own energy, my own electricity for electrification of my house. Cities expand, so does their energy use also expands. If the population of your city goes to around from 15 lakh to 20 lakhs, then definitely the energy use will also, the energy consumption will also be increased. But if you are planning to meet out the energy requirement through the conventional sources, then it's not a smart way to achieve that. So cities, small geographical footprints belies their significance. They cover 2% of the world's landmass, but account for most of the world's population, economy, activity, and energy use. Here we can focus on the third aspect, that energy use as cities and renewable energy have respectively become the habitat and energy of choice globally. You can imagine just by making good roads or by making a good government office buildings or just by planning your city, the city cannot be smart if you are not using the energy efficient things for your street lights, energy efficient bulbs for your buildings, energy efficient things in your buildings and offices. Your city cannot be a smart city. So the two are increasingly inseparable as city wire to attract growing businesses, talent and innovation in an increasingly global competition. Solar and wind power have become key for many in achieving their smart city goals. So the goals of a people-centered smart city are economic growth, sustainability, and quality of life, while the goals of a utility are to provide reliable, affordable, and environmentally responsible energy. Solar and renewable power are the linchpins to aligning and achieving both sets of goals. The better described cities that recognize this and harness solar or renewable energy, we can develop the concept of smart renewable cities. I use this word, smart renewable cities, SRCs. So are already powered by solar, renewable, and vision of further deployment of these sources as integral to their smart city plans. I visited one city in California where their 100% power requirement they are achieving, meeting out through renewable sources only. So we can discuss each of this affirmation smart city goals from an SRC perspective, with an emphasis on utilities role. First, SRCs can foster economic growth because renewables are competitive with the conventional sources and conducive to a job creation and innovation. So second, SRCs can provide sustainability through renewable powered buildings and electric mobility. And third, SRCs tend to offer a higher quality of life by being inclusive, healthier, and empowering places to live. Finally, we'll show how SRCs implement their initiatives through an ecosystem of stakeholders, chief among which are utilities. I'll show you some photographs in the last. Before closing up this presentation, I'll show some photographs which will give you the initiatives taken by different countries, taken by different cities. In Norway, I found that there was a city where there was ban on fossil fuel-based vehicles. Diesel, petrol vehicles were not allowed in that city. So 100% people were using EVs, electric vehicles. And if you are entering from some other countries, some other states to that city, then the penalty was very heavy if you want to use the same. So most of the people, they used to park the vehicle outside the city, and they took the electric vehicle on fire and they entered in the city. This is what I found. The intersecting platforms of cities and utilities. So utilities means the distribution companies, those who are supplying power to the cities. There should be some coordination between these two platforms, the Urban Development Authority and utilities. The DISCOMs, we call them utilities. The generation, transmission, distribution companies, they are all called the power utilities. So cities and utilities provide leading, growing, and transforming platforms for human activity. Cities from the leading habitat platforms for human activity, and utilities, electric grids form the leading energy platform. Most of the world's population lives in electrified urban centers. You won't find any city in the world where there is no electricity. So areas where this is less the case are seeing some of the fastest growth in urbanization in electrification rates. So accounting for 70% of global energy use, cities are utilities leading growth territory. City and utility platforms are sometimes contiguous and sometimes overlapping in their geographies and assets. For example, municipal utilities fall within their cities remit, while investor-owned utilities may not. So street lights may be city-owned or utility-owned. The current and potential growth of both platforms is enormous as cities interlink to form megalopolises and grow into megacities that have 10 million or more people. And as electrification spreads to new sectors such as transportation, so as these platforms expand, their boundaries are blurring. Where does the city end and the suburbs begin? So where does the utilities jurisdiction end and that or other power and service providers begin? In both cases, how should the two relate? And who are the stakeholders? Cities and utilities boundaries of possibility are also transforming as legacy infrastructure is outfitted with connected technology. The importance and complexity of city and utility roles have grown alongside the imperative to be smart. So I would just like to discuss one example. In 2014, when Mr. Piyush Goyal became Central Minister of Power, so we all were invited in a meeting at Delhi. Mr. Piyush Goyal entered in the meeting hall and he said sorry for the delay because he was in another meeting with the Delhi government. And you just remember 2014-15, and the load shedding in capital city Delhi was about 6 to 8 hours. You people might be remembering those days. In city like Nagpur, there was load shedding of 3 hours in the morning and 3 hours in the evening. During peak hours, from 5 to 7, there was load shedding in a place like Nagpur. I saw the load shedding in many cities of this country. Even in Raipur, Bilaspur, Bhopal, Jabalpur, Indore, there was load shedding for 3 hours. So if you want to take the bath in the morning, you'll have to remember it was winter, and if you want to take the bath in the morning at 8 o'clock, you'll have to start your geyser at 6 o'clock because there would be load shedding from 7 to 9. So these were the days. So when Piyush Goyal entered, he started talking about the load shedding in Delhi. I simply asked one question. Without introducing myself, I immediately asked one question. Do you know the number of street lights there in Delhi and NCR? It was in lakhs, you will surprise. It was in lakhs. And the street lights fixtures they were using were metal halide and sodium vapor lamps, consumption of which was 350 to 550 watt each. It was the consumption of those metal halide and sodium vapor lamps. And in few small roads, narrow roads, the gullies, even in those gullies also, the street light consumption was 150 to 200 watt, sodium vapor and metal halide lights. When I asked them that you please run one program, immediately you remove all the street lights, replace all the street lights with LED lights. Then the load shedding in peak hour will be reduced by 200 to 300 megawatt. That will be saving in your peak hours. So he said, who will do that? From where will bring this funding, the investment? He said, there is one organization within your Ministry of Power, that is EASL, Energy Efficiency Service Limited. So they engaged them and they replaced all these street lights with LED. And you know, now in the whole country, they have replaced the street lights, sodium vapor and metal halide with LED. And now the result is fantastic. There is saving of more than 30,000 megawatt because of replacement of LEDs in your houses and in street lights. That is the saving in this country. So from data-driven insights to people-focused studies, you'll have to start thinking execution. Smart city journey is progress beyond technology deployment to people-centered focus. The first stage of the smart city journey involves integrating Internet of Things, we call it IoT technologies, such as sensors with existing infrastructure to create actionable data. In New Raipur area, you'll find that street lights, all street lights are LED street lights with sensors. Means after 9:30 in the night, you'll find that one alternate lights are on, alternate street lights are on. But if there is traffic, so the motion sensors are there, the lights will automatically be on. So in some cases, technologies and collected data might not ultimately prove to be useful or actionable. More advanced smart cities and utilities start consolidating experiences gained from their pilots to deploy technology in the service of people-centered strategies. So cities and utilities serve the same people and organizations within the city, whether as citizens or customers. Therefore, in addition to smartening their great utilities can leverage their infrastructure to serve smart initiatives in areas outside of energy. And this is for avoiding costly duplication. So for example, a utility's smart meters can be harnessed to detect water leaks. The smart transformers can host air quality sensors. And the smart street lights can be augmented with charging stations, video cameras, Wi-Fi, and sensors to collect data on anything from vehicular to pedestrian traffic patterns to parking spot availability. So all these things are there. I lived in Chandigarh from 2017 to 19. So I found that a good smart parking spot availability system is there. In your this mobile only, you can see that if you are entering in sector 17 of Chandigarh and you want to park your vehicle, in the mobile itself, you can see that where the parking is available. That is called a smart way of utilizing the technology, to which they can extend their smart city initiatives via smart home system. You are entering in your house, so from outside with the help of one this software in one app in your mobile, you can switch on your lights, you can switch on your ACs, you can open your gate through that app and enter inside your building. So that utilities can help serve people centered smart city goals across the energy, economy, mobility, health, government, and safety domains. So, dear participant, smart 360-degree smart city frameworks can be designed. So, I think after completion of this 5 days program of the smart city, faculties would themselves design a 360-degree framework, and they can provide this to the urban development bodies. A comprehensive view of a people-centered smart cities, 3 cross-sectoral goals: economic growth, sustainability, and quality of life, and their enablers. A mirror framework can be applied to utilities, which directly share 2 smart city domains: environment, energy, and mobility. So utilities can also indirectly serve the other domains in the pursuit of their goals to provide reliable and affordable electricity from environmentally responsible sources. Next slide, please. Yeah. So these are the energy consumers in the city and around city. Factories, smart houses, nuclear power plant. Nuclear power plants are there in most of the cities of Europe. As you know that a small power plant of 50 megawatt, it requires hardly 1 acre of land. So in place like Hamburg or in place like Paris, you can find there is one small nuclear power plant which is feeding power to the city. So thermal power plant like in Korba, their thermal power plant is there. So you can't convert Korba in smart city until that thermal power plant is there. So hydraulic power generation, yes, if it is there, it is green power, you can do that. So some grid is required. Why we call it a smart grid? Is you know that the solar and wind, these are not providing feeding the power continuously. Inform power. These are called inform power. So solar, it gives you the power during daytime. The wind, it will give you the time when there is wind blow. So how you will make your transmission line sustainable? So technology is required to convert that grid into a smart grid, because you'll have to back down the thermal power plant during generation of solar, during generation of wind. Now the state like Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Rajasthan, they are facing a lot of problems. Tamil Nadu, best example. In Tamil Nadu itself, the generation capacity of wind generation plants are more than 15,000 megawatt. Now in wind generation, we are number 3 in the world. And most of the power generated through wind generators are in Tamil Nadu. So during wind blow time, when there is good wind velocity, the grid, their local grid is full of this energy, wind energy. You can't deploy any other power from any other source in the grid during that wind blow time. So how they'll manage their own transmission line becomes very difficult. So you will face the problem of voltage increase. You can face the problem of change in frequencies. So there can be a shutdown. There can be the whole system can be collapsed. So that's why now we talk about the smart grid. Your grid should also be smart enough to absorb the power you are generating from different sources at the same time. So now there is one grid, one nation, one grid. And then there are a system to maintain this distribution of energy in different part of this country. There is one NLDC, National Load Dispatch Center, under which there are RLDCs, Regional Load Dispatch Centers, and now in each state there is SLDC, State Load Dispatch Centers. These are all government bodies. So which feeder will get the excess of energy, the quantity of energy for which they will provide you the access, that is all a smart design system. I was chairman of WRPC also, Western Region Power Companies, which includes Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Goa, Damandiv, Chhattisgarh. So western part, I found that that is the power consumption of this western grid is maximum. We used to maintain that through the smart grid system. Next slide, please. There is some disturbance from, hello? Yeah. Am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
Indran? Yeah,
Yes,
please.
sir. Audible.
Yeah. So next slide, please. Yeah, so generation, transmission, distribution, then power consumers. Here you can see electric vehicle chargings are also there. Might have read in newspaper that government has now planned to establish this electric vehicle charging stations from Delhi to Chandigarh. In between, there would be hundreds of such charging stations. In Raipur, we installed one vehicle charging station at Electricity Board when I was chairman. There is one fast charging system installed in Creda office also. So all these petrol pumps will have to have this electric vehicle charging station, the electric charging dispensers in each petrol pump, so that you can charge it in each smart city. That will be compulsory in all the parking slots, in hospitals, collectorate, Manthalaya, everywhere you'll find now the electric vehicle charging stations. So that is the concept in smart city. So smart houses should also be smart, means they should generate their own power. I think most of people, you might be knowing about the net metering system, through which you can install the system on your rooftop, generate your own power, feed into the grid, and the power which you'll consume in your house, that will be net metered. So bill will be raised for only the net metered, net counted units which will be consumed in your building. Next slide, please. Yeah, so renewables, the linchpin of a smart city and utility goals. The smart cities and utilities share an interest in deploying renewable energy sources that align with their goals. Utilities are embracing solar power as they reach price and performance parity with conventional energy sources across the world, help to cost effectively balance the grid and become more valuable assets thanks to increasingly cost-effective storage and other new technologies. I know you people might also be knowing that in 2011-12, the solar power tariff was 17 rupees, 16 rupees 81 paisa precisely. So that was the per unit cost of solar power in 2011-12. And we used to talk that the parity will come in 2015, 2016. Parity, now the solar power cost is just 2 rupees per unit. Now the company like NTPC is signing PPA, power purchase agreement, at the rate of 1 rupees 98 paisa for next 25 years with the discoms. So that is the cost now. So these renewable energy sources now come closest to meeting the growing demand for reliable, affordable and environmentally responsible energy sources that utilities seek to provide. The utilities are buying power from different sources at the rate of 5 rupees or 6 rupees per unit, whereas the solar and wind both, they are now ready to provide the power at the price of, at the cost of the tariff of just 1 rupees 98 paisa, 2 rupees or maximum 2 rupees 35 paisa. So as a result, renewables have become the preferred energy sources for key consumers such as cities. Another key consumer that is valuable to both cities and utilities is corporations, which procured record amounts of renewables. Unlike most energy sources, wind and especially solar power can be deployed in and by the city itself. Any city, those who are now they can take the license for distribution because power can be sold through the license system only. But generation can, you can generate the power without getting the license. You can transmit the power also just by getting the permission. But distribution, yes, license is required. So in a smart city, like in New Raipur of Chhattisgarh, they have got the license to distribute the power to their consumers. There is one RDCT in Gurgaon. RDCT, there are more than 50,000 houses in that colony, that township. So the owner of that township, he is licensee and he is buying power from producers. So he is now preferring to buy the power from solar resource or wind because the tariff of that is minimum. So the biggest, purest and newest smart renewable cities, you can say. So SRCs, the smart renewable cities, recognize that solar and wind resources play a key role in powering smart city plans. So we can also develop the SRCs framework to identify and classify cities nationally that are deploying solar and or wind power in connection with their smart city plans. So SRCs are the vanguard charting a course that all smart cities are expected to pursue as they advance toward people-centered goals, with solar and wind already a part of their energy mix, and a pipeline for more SRCs are strategically positioned to leverage their shared interest in renewables with utilities to more quickly achieve these goals. Suppose your goal is to provide electricity smart cities at 2 rupees 50 paisa, yes, that can also be achieved if you are buying power from solar or renewable source. So proposed SRCs model considered the biggest, purest and newest SRCs to showcase the range of initiatives that are being implemented or considered. And the range of roles that utilities can play in initiating, shaping or participating in them in conjunction with other service and technology providers. So smart city plans are typically associated with the bigger cities, which tend to replete with legacy infrastructure and complexity, and face some of the greatest challenges and opportunities across the areas. So more specifically, SRCs can be defined as cities with a vision that integrates renewables and smart initiatives. To qualify as an SRC, the proposed model we are discussing requires that cities should have a publicly available city plan that can be shown in the website, your website, that we are planning to execute this framework to convert our city into a smart city. In addition, it must have already deployed solar and or wind power and plan to deploy more. In Chhattisgarh, the net metering mechanism is already there. The regulation is there, issued by State Regulatory Commission. In most of the states of this country, about 26 states, they have already announced their net metering or gross metering system, where you can, under which you can set up the solar power plant on the rooftop and get the power through your local grid. So if the current solar wind power share of the energy mix is less than 10%, you can't claim that your city is a smart city. So city must also have a renewable energy or decarbonization target. So to declare a smart city, decarbonization target should be there. Please note that some of these targets may involve renewables other than wind and solar. And in the case of decarbonization targets, non-renewable energy sources such as nuclear power can also be planned, which is also green. So in India now, as you know, that there is target for nuclear also. Next slide, please. Yeah, so green economic growth. Green economic growth. So the solar renewable cities foster economic growth because renewables are competitive and conducive to job creation and innovation. So promote sustainable economic growth with the help of affordable and reliable renewable power. In the world's top solar and wind markets, where most of our listed SRCs are located, solar and wind have reached price parity with conventional sources. Utilities may find their way integrating renewables into cities' energy mix cheaper than constructing new operating existing things. And now attract and retain companies procuring renewables and providing green jobs. Take the example of Raipur. You might be knowing that you might not be knowing that 34% of revenue we get in electricity board, DISCOM, is from Siltara, Urla and Bhanpuri industrial area and Raipur city. 34% of the revenue comes from these places only. And now you think if most of these industries, they will have their own power plant through open access system, or if they have a spare land, we know that suppose there is one industry which is in 1 acre of land. So half of the land is covered with the shed, industrial shed. So it is not possible to generate the power in left half the area. So you'll have, you can, but as per the regulation, you can set up the plant in 1,000 kilometer or 2,000 kilometer far places, and through open access, you can get the same electricity. You can get the electricity from your plant to your industry. That is possible. That you can do. So in Chhattisgarh now, most of these industries, either they have installed or they are planning to install renewable power, solar power particularly. Or few of them, they have installed their wind generators in places like Odisha or Tamil Nadu or Andhra Pradesh or Karnataka, Rajasthan. And now their generated power, means the power generated through their wind machines are fed into the grid, and they are getting this power from local grids and consuming it. So you can attract and retain companies procuring renewables and providing green jobs. Let us take an example of Georgetown, which is a smart city. Its existing business community can leverage the town's 100% renewable status. There is one place, Georgetown. You can just go through the Google and check the energy consumption pattern of this Georgetown city. 100% renewable status, which is also attractive to Fortune 500 companies and member of RE100, a growing group of 165 companies as of February 2019. So committed to achieving and maintaining 100% renewable use. So many of these companies offer the high-paying jobs that cities seek. In fact, some companies express interest in relocating to Georgetown as soon as the city announced its renewable energy plans. And the source of job creation is the deployment of renewables themselves. At a time when many cities are offering fewer of the better kinds of jobs and wages, they have traditionally offered lower skilled workers. Renewable installations and operations and maintenance are an attractive local job creation opportunities. There's the rooftop solar capital in place. Raipur is claiming its 100% renewable target as a job creator. There are few rice mills near Vidhan Sabha of Raipur where they have installed their own solar power plant. And you're surprised that their monthly saving in electricity itself is more than 8 lakhs. 8 lakhs per month is their saving by getting the solar system installed for running their rice mill. During daytime, suppose they generate 500 units of electricity, and if their generation is 400 units, so their consumption is 400 units, and their generation is 500 units to solar. So their bill is only for 100 units. So this is how they are meeting out the energy requirement in Raipur Smart City. Now encourage entrepreneurship and innovation via renewable business incubators. Those who are setting up new industries nearby a smart city area, you can always encourage them by giving some incentives and promoting them, encouraging them to set up renewable energy-based power plant. Like in sponge iron, in Chhattisgarh, it is compulsory that all sponge iron plants should have their waste to heat recovery based power plants. They have their captive power plants. So most of them, means all the sponge iron waste particularly plant, they have their waste heat recovery based power plants. So next is front runners in the deployment of renewables. Some SRCs have positioned themselves as renewable incubators. In US, San Diego promotes itself as a global leader in microgrid technology. There are small microgrids. They are generating power in that area itself and consuming in that area itself. They are not transmitting the power from one area to another area. So with renewable microgrids deployed at its state university campus, There is one university I visited in 2013 where I found that they are generating their own power within the university campus. They are not buying the power from outside the campus. So military bases are there. In Chhattisgarh, there are more than 150 paramilitary forces bases where they are not getting the power from conventional grid. They are generating their own power, though their requirement is very less, 10 kilowatt, 15 kilowatt, 20 kilowatt, but they are generating their own power through solar and consuming it within that. So now, since that is a Naxal infected area, Naxalites cannot cut their lines from outside because their power plant is within their campus. So in military bases of places like China border or Pakistan border, Leh, Ladakh, we have installed solar systems to meet out the requirement of that base. And in ports also. In ports, after 2014, the new government, they insisted that they should have their own power source. In railway stations, I'll show you some photographs. Do you know that 100% metro stations of Delhi they have their own power source. All metro stations, they have installed solar power plants on the rooftop. In Nagpur also, in Mumbai, in Bangalore, now it is compulsory that all metro stations will have their own power plant. So this is how you can convert that metro stations into smart stations. Some of these projects involve partnerships with utilities, yes, to test how microgrids can provide grid reliability and renewable energy farming services to the central grid. So another example is SRC Nelson Mandela Bay, which has positioned itself as the South African and continental hotspot for green energy manufacturing. So I know few industry areas. One is Aachen of Germany, where they are using all green energy. They are using only biodiesel to run their diesel generators, and then they are feeding the power in the grid, only green energy power. So in direct partnerships with the private sector, some universities, some places, they host an incubator. Yes. Sustainable buildings and transportation. So the SRCs can promote sustainability through renewable power buildings and electric mobility. In New Raipur area, New Raipur of the NRDA, we call it NRDA, New Raipur Development Authorities, under which all the government buildings, all the private buildings, it is mandatory for them to cover the rooftop with solar power plants. That is the sustainable model. So these buildings are not dependent for electricity on utility grid. They are generating their own power. So the two sectors accounting for most of the energy used in listed SRCs are buildings and transportation. Transportation is, you know, that our import bill of crude oil is about 80% of the total import bill. 80% for crude oil. That is around 9 lakh crores. So if you can start using this electric vehicles in your country. I don't know much about the other cities, but since last 2 years, my observation is in Raipur, in Delhi, almost 100% auto, means 90% auto you can say. 90% autos have been replaced with electric e-rickshaws. Similarly, in Delhi, in last week I visited Delhi and found that hundreds of electric cars are now running on roads. Because Hyundai, Tata, Maruti, few good name companies, they are now, they have started manufacturing these electric vehicles and now supplying. So manage energy and natural resources wisely through smart renewable powered buildings. Recycle and reuse assets by pursuing non-wire alternatives. Don't allow the water of the colony, don't allow the water of any particular locality to flow outside the colony, outside that area. But try to reuse it. Is that water can be treated and reused in your gardens. They can be reused for washing your cars, can be reused in your houses for cleaning and all. Just for the drinking purpose, you can take the filtered water. Otherwise, no waste water, the sewage water should be allowed to flow outside your area. All that can be recycled, all that can be used. So in fact, that is the smart thinking. I think in coming days of this training program, people, the faculties will come, trainers will come and give the presentation on different ways of recycling and reuse of these things. So equipping smart buildings with solar panels and or micro wind turbines. Micro wind turbines are also available. In few places of South India, I found that 5 kilowatt, 10 kilowatt turbines are now available and people are putting on their rooftops. So potentially with energy storage. Now, as I said that to keep the grid smart, if you can store the energy, the generated energy in your house itself, then you can use it 24/7. Otherwise, during daytime, you will generate the power, feed into the grid, and in the evening again, you will try to fetch the power from the grid. So that is not possible. To make the firm supply, it is necessary that your storage should also be firm enough to supply the power 24/7. Last year, we floated one tender for setting up a plant of 250 megawatt solar power plant with 150 megawatt hour storage in Rajnandgaon or Chhattisgarh. And you're surprised that the price, the tariff quoted, the L1 tariff quoted is rupees 3.78, 3 rupees 78 paisa. Again, very low as compared to coal-based power. Means the power will be generated, solar power will be generated, and that will be stored in 150 megawatt hour storage capacity, and that can be distributed. Another example I found in Germany, where here in India also there is two-part tariff. Means during peak hours, the rate is different. Off peak hours, the rate of power is different. So during off peak, the price in Germany was around 8 rupees per unit electricity cost. They used to store that off peak hour power in battery banks of megawatt hour. Somewhere it was up 2 megawatt hour, 3 megawatt hour. And during peak hour, the electricity tariff was 21 rupees. In Indian rupees, it was 21 rupees per unit. So during daytime, when it was 8 rupees, they used to store the power, and in the night, again, they are not getting the power. They are not drawing the power from the grid, but they are supplying the power through their storage system. That is smart system. So throughout, means 24/7, now they are supplying the power which is available at 8 rupees per unit. So here NRDA is involved in its cities, smart building initiatives. It has deployed smart meters and worked with the IoT technology providers to give building operators. Those who are not aware about this term smart meters, I'd like to tell them that a smart meter means you can get the meter reading from control room itself. Need not to go to the houses door to door for getting the meter reading, but in the control room itself. In Chhattisgarh, all HT meters, all HT consumers, they have the smart meters. Now we are getting their readings in our control room itself. And then from the control room itself, you can switch off the light of any house. If they are not paying the electricity bill, that can be disconnected from the control room. Like in case of this telecom services and Tata Sky, Airtel Sky systems, this network system. If you are not paying, that will be disconnected automatically. So similar will be case with the smart meter of electricity. So in smart cities, it is mandatory, it is compulsory for the DISCOM authorities to set up the smart meters. So in future course of time, all these electronic meters will be replaced with smart meters. So energy consumption sensors relay, in fact that is sensor relay system that use patterns. Here also in your electricity bill or through this More Bijli app which I started in 2020, you can see the pattern, use pattern of your electricity. It's in January, February, March, what was the pattern of load, how much electricity you consumed in different months. So in another smart city Chandigarh project pursued in partnership with a real estate company, so they deployed virtual net metering displays in the smart thermostats and all solar net zero smart living community. If you are setting up a solar power plant in your house, so here in Raipur you have installed the system, and if you are in Delhi, so in the evening you can just check through your app that your solar system in Raipur generated how much unit of electricity, good electricity, and what was your consumption in your house. So that is the smart system, the virtual net metering system that is displayed in through that app. So now I think we should go to the next slide. Yeah, so higher quality of life for all. SRCs can offer a higher quality of life by being inclusive, healthier and empowering places to live. Up to 2011-12, I think you might be remembering that, like in my case, I was able to afford the cost of air conditioners. But I purchased only one because cost of air conditioning was affordable, but cost of electricity bill was not affordable. I thought that if I'll put air conditioners in different rooms, then the electricity bill will become very high. So, and similarly, this CFLs and bulbs also. One bulb was of 100 watt. Now, if you put 10 bulbs, LED bulbs in 10 different points, total consumption would not be 100 watt. Because in bathroom you will use 5 watt or 7 watt. In bigger room you will use 10 watt or 12 watt of LED bulbs. So now that is the change because of energy efficiency. The fan consumption was 160 to 180 watt, whereas now 40 watt fans are available. Most of the companies are now giving you the fans with 40 watt consumption only. And the televisions, now these smart TVs are available. Their consumption is hardly 30 watt, 40 watt. What is the consumption of air conditioners, inverter ACs? You see that. In the starting, it takes about 1.5, 1.6 kilowatt, but just after 1 hour or after 30, 40 minutes, when it achieves the temperature of 24 on which it is set, the consumption becomes hardly 300, 350 watt. So this is how you can make the system quality conscious system. So foster inclusivity by providing lower income households access to renewables. Consumption of fridge is also very less. The 600 liter fridge consumption of 5-star level. Consumption of that is hardly 380, 390 watt for the whole year. Means per day consumption of fridge is hardly 2 units. Hardly 2 units. It means the lower income household can also afford the maintaining fridge in their house. So they all, the lower income or higher income or the medium income groups, they all have the fridges in their houses. You see the 5-star level washing machines. So all electrical equipments are available with star level, the consumption of which is very low. So similarly for the whole city, if you are making framework for that, if you are planning to, you are preparing the DPR for that, so you just think of energy efficient use of the fixtures, you'll find that that is possible. So inclusivity is built into greenfield SRCs to the extent that renewables and electric mobility are integrated throughout the city from the outset. So this also allows greenfield SRCs to minimize most local air pollutants in a world where 80% of urban dwellers are exposed. Up to 2004-5, when we used to visit Delhi, शाम होते होते तक तो इतना थक जाते थे, आंखों में इतनी जलन होने लगती थी कि चलो यार शाम को कोई फ्लाइट है तो वापस भोपाल चलते हैं, वापस अपने घर लौट सकते हैं, because of the air pollution in that area. Now that city is also converting into a smart city. Now you'll find that all these public conveyance are CNG operated because of the stringent order of Supreme Court. Now it is converting into electric vehicles also. Low floor electric buses are now running in Delhi. So with the planning of this smart planning of your city, you can reduce the air pollutants in your city. So a growing trend among SRCs is to further improve air quality by restricting vehicular access to their city centers. So like SRC's Copenhagen has banned diesel cars from the city. Few market areas are now banned and introduce car-free areas. So SRC's London's ultra low emission zone has come into effect from April 2019. I visited that place. In SRC, Paris announced a ban on internal combustion engines. All IC engines are now banned in Paris. They are phasing out. They are phasing out. So their target is by 2030. There will be 100% ban on IC combustion engines. Some states and national policies align with these efforts. Norway, they have already announced that by 2025, all their vehicles will be electric vehicles. So California's target for 100% zero emission vehicles sales by 2040. That will affect SRC's San Diego and Los Angeles. Los Angeles also, you'll find that almost 30% vehicles are now electric vehicles in LA and expected to have a national impact. So many California policies. So India's IC sales then target for 2030. इसमें भी जो इंटरनल कम्बशन इंजन्स हैं उसको भी ये टारगेट किया गया है कि 2030 तक वो भी that will be converted into electric vehicles. Now you might have seen that BS4 is there, BS6 is there now. जो हम लोग यूरो बोला करते थे, यूरो 1, यूरो 2, यूरो 3 जो पोल्यूशन के ग्रेड्स थे. So now the applicable score is BS6. So in the United Kingdoms, this IC engines sales banned by, their target is to ban it by 2040. So similarly, all these cities, smart cities, so they will go for electric vehicles. But that is possible only if you plan for setting up the electric charging stations at different community centers. So enable the constituents engagement via renewable prosumers. This is one new word, prosumers. Most of you might not have heard this name. Prosumers means producer and consumers both. So if you have your power plant on your rooftop, so you are called prosumers, producer of electricity and consumer of electricity. So this brings us back to the point that integrating renewables into building and transportation sectors opens the prospect of transforming building operators. I'll not go to the petrol pump for getting my vehicle fueled. I can charge my vehicle in my house itself in the night. And then understanding a smart renewable cities enabling ecosystem. The ecosystem is the leading SRC. Example, I give some examples: San Diego, Georgetown, Penn Station. Now let us click up because I know that. Yeah, next slide, please. Yeah, so here you can see climate variability and change, water, energy, land. You'll have to protect all these. So integrating this environment, society, and economy, this is how you can do it. We all are now facing this climate change and global warming. जब 82-83 में जब हम लोग सर्विस शुरू किए थे, 2 साल 3 साल हम लोगों को हुए थे, and we used to say people that आपको देखने मिलेगा कि बोतल में भर करके पानी बिका करेगा। हम लोगों को बड़ा आश्चर्य होता था कि ये कैसे होगा यार। स्कूलों में भी देयर हैंड पंप्स एंड टेप्स वेयर देयर, और हम लोगों की क्लासरूम्स में मटके रखे रहते थे, उसमें हम लोग पानी पीते थे। तो जब ये सुनते थे कि यार कभी पानी बोतलों में ला करके पीछा जाएगा तो बड़ा आश्चर्य होता था। बट नाउ यू कैन सी even in the villages also people are buying water, bottled water, mineral water. They call it mineral water. It's not. And then in each household of the city, there are ROs now people are using. और ग्लोबल वार्मिंग के बारे में जब हम लोग कहते थे कि देखना आप बहुत जल्दी उस समय आएगा जब पूरा जो हमारा रेनी सीजन है वो चेंज होगा और हमारा पूरा क्लाइमेट, पूरा वेदर चेंज हो जाएगा। नाउ वी आर फेसिंग दिस in terms of global warming and climate change. So this is what we'll have to take care while designing this smart cities. Next slide, please. Next slide. Indrani, next slide, please. Am I audible?
Yes,
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it visible now?
Yeah. So 3 key policy levers, finally, we'll discuss to improve regions' readiness for green age technology, and to introduce incentives for clean energy technologies, give some subsidies to attract people for accepting or for using this green energy in their houses, and introduce flexibility in carbon markets like CDM market was there, and then develop policy pathways to provide reliable and secure communication infrastructures. So placing funds from the public purse behind clean energy technologies improves political, social and technical readiness by showing political supports, so improving social acceptance and consumers ability to, that will make the project ability to pay and potentially increasing decentralized flexible load through these incentives. The economic barriers is reduced, enabling business models which otherwise would not be viable and leading to an increase in technology adoption. So this in turn result in potential economies of scale and cost reduction in technologies such as with rooftop solar. So alongside this, as technology becomes commonplace, society becomes more familiar and accepting of it. So these markets work to improve economic readiness. Value will encourage shifting consumer energy demand in time. Value will encourage residential, commercial and industrial actors to invest in the technologies, because there is difference in different tariffs are there. For domestic it is 3 rupees to 4 rupees, 5 rupees. In commercial sector it is 8 rupees, 9 rupees. And for industries it is from 8 rupees to 12 rupees. So incentives should also be offered according to this classification. So the existence of a carbon market improves the economic viability of the grid. So the presence of widespread reliable communication infrastructure improves the region's technical readiness. Next slide, please. So this was the roadmap for renewable power by 2020. Till 2014, it was only 20,000 megawatt. But now, after this Modi government, it is now 175 gigawatt. Dear participants, I have witnessed the whole journey of this renewable energy from 82 onward. Means when we were talking about the watt, now we are talking in gigawatt terms of renewables. Those days we never thought to discuss renewable energy in gigawatt terms. Now the target is 175 gigawatt by 2022, and it is again revised to 430 gigawatt by 2030. Exponentials. 175 gigawatt by 2020. So this is how we are now planning, and definitely we are going to achieve this target. Surprised that we have already crossed 120 gigawatt, and the project in pipeline. So on the basis of that, we can say that we will achieve it to 175 gigawatt. Next slide, please. Next slide. Yeah, so only solar power target was 100 gigawatt, which we are going to achieve through this rooftop, then farmers, and then mega size plants. So different targets are being given to different PSUs also. Like railway, their target is about 800 megawatt. Now it is 8,000 megawatt for the railways only. So in all these railway platforms, railway stations, they are putting up solar power plants. All ports, all airports, 100% airports are now solar electrified. I'll show you some photographs. Next, please. Yeah, here you can see the Punjab Engineering College, 1 megawatt rooftop. Normally, we install the solar system on ground mounted systems, 1 megawatt, 2 megawatt, 3 megawatt. It was the first engineering college of the country where we installed 1 megawatt rooftop. It is only on rooftop. Next, please. This is 495 kilowatt on Government College, Girls College, Sector 11, Chandigarh. Since I was in Chandigarh, so I took a few photographs which I can show you. So next one. Here you can see the whole rooftop is covered with solar panel. The building itself is generating power, you can see. That building is not energy consuming building, but that is energy generating building. So here the metro station, Faridabad, as I said, that 100% metro stations are now solar powered, solar generating stations. So 150 kilowatt. So as much capacity as you can install. So this is how they are electrifying their metro stations. Next, please. Solar parking sheds. So in most of the places in metro cities, you'll find here in Raipur also, in Indravati, Mahanadi and Mantralaya, you'll find that the parking places, all sheds are on the top of that shed, solar panels are installed. So here the plant capacity is 0.5 megawatt. Medanta Hospital, Gurgaon, Haryana. Next slide, please. 12 megawatt solar power plant, Cochin International Airport. 100% airports are now solar. Solar plants are mounted. Here in Raipur it is of 5 megawatt. In Delhi it is of 25 megawatt. Cochin was the first international airport where this 12 megawatt solar power plant was installed. Because a lot of free space are there in airports, are required to be left. These spaces are required to be left. So why it should be kept free? At least solar panel can be installed. So that is the best use of free space in airports. Next, please. Yeah, Park Sheraton Chennai, water heating system is there. See, I always say that for heating the water using the geyser is a crime. Is a crime, yes. Because all of you know that how we generate the power in thermal power stations. We produce the steam by burning coal in a boiler. So we produce the steam and we run the steam generator and get the electricity. And the electricity which comes from different substations, 400 kV, then 132, then 33, then 11 kV, then 430 volts. And then again you put that electricity through immersion rod into the water for getting the hot water. So is it not the crime? So what the efficiency, in engineering terms, what's the efficiency of that? It's hardly 6%, 7%. Means the amount of energy you waste in generating power, or you consume in generating power, hardly 8% of that is being converted into getting hot water. So in place of that, every household, every industry should have their own this water heating system. And that's very easy. There is no machine, there is no gearbox, there is no engine. Just a small system is there which give you hot water. So Sheraton Chola is another system. Then Taj Ambassador, all these are using this water system. So the saving of electricity is highest if you are converting your geyser into solar water heater. Next. Cooking system, yes. In community kitchens, Shri is one example. Here in Chhattisgarh, Narayanpur is one example, where for more than 1,000 people they are cooking through this solar steam-based device. Next, please. Another system at ITC Hotel, Maurya Sheraton. I designed this system. So that's why I use this photograph most of the time. So this solar steam generation system is there at ITC Hotel, Maurya Sheraton. Next, please. This is another system on Manipal University, Jaipur, Rajasthan. This is of 400. One more thing I would like to tell you, the highest capacity solar panel, one single solar panel, till 2018-19 available was 330 watt, single panel. Now, almost on the same size, the capacity of single solar panel is 550 watt. Means almost 60% efficiency has improved in solar panel. So the area, the best example, Tyagarajan Stadium, it took about 1 hectare of land. Means 10,000 square meter area was required to generate 1 megawatt of power. Now, in Paryavaran Bhavan of Lodi Road, 6,000 square meter, means 60% area is sufficient to generate 1 megawatt of power. So that is the efficiency improved in solar panel. Next, please. Next, please. Yeah, another photographs of Anand Vihar Pragati Maidan, where we installed the system. Next, please. Yeah, and the system, ISBT, Kashmiri Gate. This is a metro station. Next. Next. Yeah, 7 things that successful smart cities do. First thing is smart city development, citizen come live first mindset. I think other faculties will cover this. Next, please. Yeah, so dear friends, I would like to conclude smart cities and the growing opportunities and imperative to become SRCs. The integration of more solar, more renewable energy mixes can directly power their goals to be more economically competitive, sustainable, and livable. With these words, I would like to thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity to interact with the participant of this faculty development program, and I am available for question and answer session and given opportunity. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. And this was an informative session. You rightly mentioned that with the development of existing cities and their transition to smart cities, energy management has become an integral component of urban transformation. Now, moving forward, I request all the participants to join the discussion and ask a question. They can either raise hands or post your question in WhatsApp group. Yes, please, sir. Kindly ask the questions.
Please. Kesarwani sir, please. Yeah.
Very good morning to all the panelists here. मेरी आवाज आ रही सर?
Good morning.
Hello.
Most welcome.
Sir, very good morning to everyone.
Morning.
First of all, I want to thank you, Shukla sir, for such an enlightening presentation and various fields of the energy saving ideas in their smart application. Sir, I have a very practical and small question. That whenever we use the solar panel in the roof, the bottom side of the solar panel gets heated up. And to dissipate that heat, we need to make some air clearance between the structural roof and the solar panel.
Yeah.
So what I want, this panel itself should be developed as a cladding material. So many of the industrial shades and the roofing which do not have the utilization of the top of the roof can have the panel as a cover, and more easily we can accommodate all the solar panels for shading devices into the parking spaces and other small utility spaces. So in this area, if you can some enlightenment, if you can do, it will be better for us, because we are the basically designer of the building and we always keep the provision. Presently, we are putting certain loads and dead load for the solar panel application over the roof. So this can also be helped in reducing the structural cost of the building. Thank you, sir.
Okay. So you might have seen that there is now change in mounting structure of solar panel. Now, in place of using heavy mounting structures, they are using simple frames. So with the fasteners, by drilling the rooftop, with the fasteners and some chemicals, they are sealing the mounting structure and using solar panels. So that problem is, but you are absolutely right that there should always be some gap between the panel and the rooftop, so that the air can be passed through and the temperature can be maintained. But on the other side, if you are putting the solar panel on the rooftop, so less heat will be emitted inside your building. So that keep your building cool, because the heat is absorbed with the panel. Suppose the ambient temperature is 40 degree, so of course the temperature of the panel will be around 70 degree temperature. Am I right? But that energy is now converted into electricity, so your rooftop will be colder than the bare rooftop. Yes, Sarvani sir.
Thank you, sir. It's a very good idea. Can we use that heat in some secondary heating purpose, as you just said?
Of course. If you want, you can put some heat exchanger. If you want to use that heat, that can.
Because somewhere I have come across the terminology like hybrid solar photovoltaic panels, which have the water heating systems from the below surface.
Yes, you are right. Yes, you're right. That hybrid system is also available.
Yeah. So if such type of systems are in near future, if you can make it available in Chhattisgarh, or at least attract those those parties who can trade in these things.
Yes, you're right.
My mentor Arora ji is sitting here. Who is good morning, sir. So Arora ji is a very senior mechanical engineer, and I believe such new items he will venture into, because he has got a very good rapport with all the traders, and he can himself take interest in all these energy saving devices.
Yes,
thank
sir,
you, sir.
Definitely.
Thank you, sir. Amit Jha, sir, you can ask your question. Yes, sir, please go ahead. We have some questions from participants in WhatsApp group. One participant asks, can we use agricultural field to fit solar plants for generation of energy? Is there any company associated with it?
Yeah, of course. Government policies are there. Like in Karnataka, they have installed more than 200 megawatt system in agriculture fields. And where if you want to grow the crop also like bindi, this lady finger can be used, that ginger can also be produced in the field, where you elevate the structure and put the solar panel on that, and below that you can grow some kind of crops. Not all crops can be grown, but like ginger, lady finger and all, this can be grown below that. And the policy says that if you want to set up the plant, so that comes under Kusum Yojana. One Kusum Yojana is there, under which you can install the solar plant in your agricultural fields.
Yes, thank you, sir. Yes, please ask the question. We can take 1 or 2 questions more. Yes, Tanya Jain, ma'am. Please unmute yourself and ask a question. Yeah, Arora sir,
Next
you
question
want
can be
to ask?
taken up.
Yes.
one minute, sir. One small question, Shalinji. Sir, मैं ये पूछ रहा था कि there is some hesitation in installing the solar panel in the house. I meet many people. So how to motivate them? Even I am not using solar panel. I have 2 connections of electricity with around 8,000 watt. But still I have not used it. So little how to remove the hesitation and go for it? Please enlighten. I mean, people like me, there are many people who are not doing it. Please.
Can you please tell me what's the point of hesitation in that?
Only thing is that you can say that the consequences of that, like we produce extra, then we give to government, and then if we are not able to produce extra or enough, then that some system I want to know.
Okay. So that is called net metering. Arosa, that is called net metering system, under which you can install the system on the rooftop. Suppose your system is of 5 kilowatt capacity. Suppose, since your connected load is 8 kilowatt, so maximum capacity which you can install on the rooftop would be 8 kilowatt. That is the upper cap. Connected load is should be equal to the size of the solar panel. So that is 8 kilowatt. So 8 kilowatt will produce 32 to 35 unit of electricity per day. That is average. Someday this will be 28, 29, someday this will be 40 units. So 35, 36 unit will be per day generation. Suppose your this consumption of electricity a day is 30 unit, generation is 36 unit. So 6 units will be carried forward for the next day. That is called banking. So that will be carried forward to next day. So that carry forward process can be carried out for 1 year. Means for 1 year you can bank the electricity which is generated extra. Means over your consumption. 35 यूनिट आपने जनरेट किया, 30 यूनिट आपने कंज्यूम किया, तो 5 यूनिट कैरी फॉरवर्ड हो गया. ऐसा कैरी फॉरवर्ड आपका 1 साल तक होगा. 31 मार्च को वो पूरा आपका खत्म कर दिया जाएगा अकाउंट. कैसे खत्म होगा? सपोज आपका टोटल जनरेशन जो था वो आपके कंजम्पशन से 20 यूनिट ज्यादा था, तो 20 यूनिट का पैसा आपको इसको हम वापस कर देगा. किस रेट पे वापस करेगा? वो CSEB से एक रेट डिसाइड करता है, विच इज एट प्रेजेंट ₹4.35. वो हर साल चेंज हो सकता है. दैट इज कॉल्ड प्रोटेक्टिव प्राइस. आपने भी कुछ एक्स्ट्रा जनरेट किया था, ग्रिड में डाला था, तो आपको वो पैसा मिल जाएगा. सपोज योर कंजम्पशन इज मोर देन योर जनरेशन, देन the bill will be raised for that net metered unit only. 35 यूनिट आपने कंज्यूम किया, 30 यूनिट जनरेट किया, तो आपका बिजली का बिल 5 यूनिट का आएगा. महीने में हर महीने बिलिंग होगी. Each month, if the consumption is less than generation, then the unit will be carried forward to the next month. Your electricity bill will be 0.
Right.
If your consumption is more, then the bill will be raised for the only part which is consumed more than generation. That is called net metering. That's very easy. You'll surprised that my house is a farmhouse. So I'm using the solar pump also for irrigation. I'm using all solar things, and that is in about 1 acre. 1 acre is a compounded area. Total area is about 7-8 acre. But my electricity bill is hardly 300-400 rupees per month.
Okay. And
that is very nominal.
Right, sir. One small more question, sir. Let us talk about the economics of it. Suppose 800 watt solar plant I am using. What is its cost? and any government subsidy is there or not, and then the recovery, I mean, how much time it repay back us, like that, for the investment we make.
At present tariff, the recovery would be in 1.5 to 2 years. At present tariff, if the tariff will be increased, then your payback will be in lesser time, right? Like in industry, it is about in 1 year you can take the payback. Like I give the example of rice mill, their monthly saving is 8 lakhs, and the total cost they have invested is about 1 crore. So within 1.2 year, they will recover the cost.
Okay.
Right, and the cost of solar plant is 40 to 45 rupees per watt if it is more than 5 kilowatt capacity. It is 45 to 50 rupees per watt if it is less than 5 kilowatt.
Okay.
Capacity is less than 5 kilowatt.
Okay.
That is thumb rule. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. So we reached at the end of the session, and I extend my gratitude to the keynote speaker for sharing his graceful words with us in today's session. All the participants of this meeting are inspired and got the needed information from your highly sparkling words. On behalf of GC Bilaspur, I take this opportunity to thank the guest of inaugural session and the audience for representing their valuable views. I must remark a proficient sense of gratefulness to guests for sharing with us some of their valuable thoughts. All the participants of this meeting are inspired by your words, and I thank guest of honor Shri TPS Arora for his valuable time and thoughts he shared with us, and I thank the principal Dr. B.S. Chawla for his constant inspiration. I also thank all the participants for their active participation. Thank you so much. And
Thank you, ma'am.
thank you, sir. And I request all the participants to join the combined inauguration of online Atal FDP by AICT Atal Academy at 11. You